Hi everyone, welcome to Apple This Week. I'm Mark Gurman. I'll be your host today, and today we're going to talk about AirPods, and we're coming to you live on YouTube, the Bloomberg Terminal, and of course Facebook Live. So AirPods were supposed to come out at the end of October, but they actually just hit the online store yesterday morning. A bit of a early Christmas surprise for those who really wanted the what Apple dubbed the wireless future. And if you're not familiar with AirPods, so let's start with something else. Earpods. Earpods are what actually comes in the box of the iPhone 7. It's your standard Apple headphones here, what I'm holding up, and they have a wire, and then you plug it into the bottom of the phone using the Lightning connector. And of course, on the older iPhones, it was a standard headphone jack. Now, the difference between the Earpods and the AirPods is that they're completely wireless. So check this out. They have this picture on their website, and it basically looks like an earpod, but there's no wires, and it functions mostly the same way, but there's a few new, tricks that these ones can do. On the side, there's a motion sensor and there's a pressure sensor, so you can really just invoke Siri by tapping on it. And one of the coolest features that I remember when trying it out at the iPhone event, the iPhone 7 event in September, was that if you're listening to music, instead of having to click something to pause it or something like that, you can just pull it out of your ear, and it'll pause for you. When you put it back in your ear, it'll continue playing, and that's because they have motion sensors built in and all other sorts of sensors. And it's a really cool product, $159, and Apple's really positioning as the wireless future for the iPhone, especially that it doesn't have the headphone jack now. So it's actually fairly interesting that they really had this delay. They've been developing these for several years, and this delay to a few months after the iPhone 7 came out, a component that was so critical, doesn't look so great for the company, but at least they have it out for Christmas. I checked the online store this morning, and some of the different countries are listing up to 6-week shipping times. I actually ordered a pair in the morning yesterday, and mine's arriving next week. So depending on when you ordered it, you'll get it. Also, please send questions in through Facebook Live on the comment section. If you have questions, I'll be sure to answer them. You can ask me about me. You can ask me about the AirPods. You can ask me anything about Apple. We'd love to know what you think about the AirPods. Some other cool features is iCloud synchronization. So a lot of people have multiple Apple devices. So some people might have an iPhone, an iPad, an Apple Watch, a Mac, and it's a single pair of headphones, and it works with all of your devices through iCloud. So you pair them with the iPhone or another one of your devices, and with your Apple ID login, it'll sync across the whole system. So if you go on your Mac, you start using your Mac, the audio will sync through the headphones from the Mac. If you're going on a walk and you have the Apple Watch, it'll sync through the Apple Watch to the headphones. So it's actually a cool function that really integrates well with the rest of the Apple ecosystem. Now, one of the core components of the AirPods is actually the AirPod case. So the way it works is you get the AirPods, they come in this case, it has this indicator light, and in order to charge them, you put the AirPods into the case and close the top, and then on the bottom there's a place to put a Lightning connector. So you put the Lightning connector in, it'll charge up, and it will charge the case up to 24 hours, an actual full day. And you can be on the go because the AirPods have 5 hours of battery life. So if you run out of battery, you stick them back in the case, and you can charge it up 3 or 4 times, just based on doing the math by putting in the case without ever connecting to the Lightning cable. And I held one of those at the Apple event, and it's really small. It's like almost the size of a pack of floss, if you will. So we're getting some questions in. What are the reviews of the AirPods so far? How is the sound quality compared to the wired one? Will these headphones pair with non-Apple devices? So the reviews of the AirPods so far, a lot of the early reviews were indicating some problems with audio playback and synchronization and distance, but those are some of the reasons why Apple chose to hold back the launch until they were ready. Apple did note that these were pre-production units given to reviewers, so I'm certain that I assume those problems have been fixed, and there shouldn't be an issue. Apple wouldn't ship something so critical unless it was ready. Apple really believes in waiting for something to be right before shipping it. They rather have a little delay than ship a product that's not fully baked. In terms of the audio quality, Apple says that it's better than the AirPods. It has a lot of new technologies in there. But the key differentiator is the wireless chip inside. It has this processor called the W1 chip. that is supposed to enhance Bluetooth so that distance and range and quality is better. There's no sort of drops in bandwidth when connecting to the Bluetooth. Another question was, does it pair with non-Apple devices? So in addition to having the W1 and being able to sync with iCloud for Apple devices, it also has a standard Bluetooth protocol connection, which means you can connect it to any Bluetooth device that would normally accept headphones. The functionality in terms of wireless earphones and the charging case and all that will obviously remain, but you won't get the iCloud synchronization and the easy pairing. Speaking of pairing, the way you pair these things is you just flip the top of the case open and then it'll automatically pair to the device that it's next to, in one case an iPhone. So it's actually pretty cool. Another question here, has there been any official or unofficial testing on sweat water resistance of the AirPods? Apple has all sorts of labs on its campus for testing things in athletic environments, especially with the Apple Watch and testing the different sensors. I remember there was a video of Apple doing testing on bikes, and they had a bunch of equipment and backpacks and masks hooked up to the people riding the bikes in order to really understand how well the Apple Watch is doing tracking of health and really understanding the way people's bodies react. So I'm sure they have sweat tracking and all sorts of stuff for the AirPods. I haven't seen any data on that. I'm not sure any has been published, but that's definitely one of the things that Apple probably looked at. Even with the leather bands and all other Apple products, they test all of those things for all sorts of environments. So it's a no-brainer to assume that they did that for the AirPods as well. In terms of price, the AirPods cost $159, and that includes the charging case. It's interesting because that's over $100 more than the EarPods. And the difference is basically you're snipping the wires. But of course, there's a lot of advanced technologies in there to really get something that small with that much battery life and that much functionality. So $159 is a little bit less than I would have expected, to be honest, because when Apple acquired Beats, Beats was selling wireless headphones, albeit with higher quality stereo sound, for north of $300, $400, $500. So it's not too bad. And if you look at Bluetooth headsets, this is a prime comparison to a Bluetooth headset because you can use one. So if you want to just use this Bluetooth headset, you leave one behind, you just have one on your right side or your left side, however you prefer. And when Bluetooth headsets first came out, those were well north of $100. I remember with the original iPhone, they actually had a Bluetooth headset. It was black, it was kind of similar to the EarPod design, but it was a little bit of a thinner, straight line. With a button on the top, not really as advanced. And this was over 10 years ago, and that was well over $100 as well. I think it was either $129, $199, $169, something in the $100 ballpark. But I believe the battery life on these AirPods is a bit better. We have another question here. How about talking quality? Most Bluetooth devices geared towards music aren't good. The person on the side can't hear very well. So there's special microphones around the bottom of the headphones and into the ear that picks up volume in a way. As you can see, there's a voice accelerometer. It picks up volume in new ways, and basically it uses a technology called beamforming, which means as you speak, it'll go into the microphones on both sides and really pick up the sound. And that's a huge advantage because Bluetooth headphones, you only have one of them, usually a Bluetooth headset. But now on these, it can pick up from the bottom on both sides, and that really allows for new noise reduction technology, which will make calls clearer. What about the comfort level? How do they feel in the ear? From when I wore them, it actually felt very similar to the standard EarPods that come with the phone, but it felt, and I don't know if this was me just, feeling it because it was new, but it felt like they stayed in my ear a little bit better. Obviously, you're not going to want to run with these or jump with these or do anything crazy with them, but they do stick in your ear a little bit better than the AirPods. I know a lot of people that these things just don't fit in the ear. What is interesting to me is there doesn't seem to be a kit, an add-on kit from Apple at least, a first-party kit with different sort of like suction caps that you can put on the headphones in order to adjust the fit. I know some of the older Beats headphones, these aren't Beats, but some of the older Beats headphones did come with a bunch of different sized pins you can put at the top to better fit it into your ear. But Apple also has a few new Beats headphones with better connections. They wrap around the ear, they go around your head. They are still Bluetooth, they still have that chip that allows the iCloud synchronization, but they're primarily driven at athletes and runners. Let's see here. Another question, is Apple making anything to connect them together like a lanyard so you won't lose them? They might. Apple might do that in the future, but for now they don't have a first-party solution. I've actually seen a few of those on Kickstarter It's very interesting. People really trying to jump on this bandwagon of a new Apple product, as they always do. And I think some of those could be hot sellers. If you want AirPods and you want a lanyard, Kickstarter might be your place, or Amazon. Something interesting is that Apple has done lanyards in the past. When the iPod Touch, the really thin one, came out in 2012 with the camera, Apple actually came out with a lanyard because that thing was so thin and light, and maybe they were scared people would drop it. So you can attach a lanyard to it and put it around your wrist. They also have a lanyard for the Apple TV remote. So, could be seen if Apple wants to make a third lanyard, one for the AirPods. It wouldn't be too surprising given they do have experience making lanyards. Another question, what if I'm right by another person who also has an iPhone? You said it connects to the nearest iPhone. What if it's not mine? Well, it's a pairing process. That's a very good question. You basically have to put the charging case right on top of the, let's see, there's a picture here somewhere. Or there's not. But you have to basically put the charging case, oh, here it is, the charging case right on top of the iPhone on the screen. You flip the top, and there's a pairing process where you have to accept on both ends. So it's highly, highly unlikely that would happen. Your AirPods are not going to just pick up another Bluetooth signal from another phone. That really won't happen. Can you talk more about what caused the delay? So these things pack a lot of technology inside of them, and so I think it's a combination of things. A lot of the early reviews were complaining about audio quality, calls dropping, music dropping, distance really being variable in terms of reliability, and I think manufacturing these at scale made it difficult, especially to get all that technology in. So it's not the first time Apple's done a delay, but it's the first time of such a notable product. Like when they went on stage to announce the iPhone 7, they said, hey, this thing doesn't have a headphone jack anymore, so what are we gonna do? Well, we have these really cool headphones that are completely wireless, they fit right into your ear, they have solid battery life, all this cool technology. They're supposed to come out end of October for $159, but, here we are in December. And, I think the bad thing is that I thought these would be really hot sellers for Christmas. Everyone with an iPhone 7, obviously they sold tens of millions of those, and they're compatible with older phones who would want one of these. It seems like a really cool Christmas or Hanukkah gift, whatever you do celebrate. So, just making Christmas I don't think is good enough, but it's better than missing and delaying completely into 2017. So I think that's what we have for today. That was the AirPods, and next week, or our next show, which would probably be after the new year, I'll have a pair. I'll be testing them, and I'll let you know my thoughts after using them for a while. So I'm Mark Gurman. Please make sure to tune in next time. Follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, and thanks for your time.